it's really important that not only do we teach kids to ride safe, but parents get to see, hey, my kid now knows how to ride safe. So that anxiety when your kid goes, hey, I'm going to get on the bike and I want to go see my friend down the street, you know that they're safe to do so. And that's the biggest part is, as a parent, you want to sit and go, okay, am I okay to send my kid down the street to a friend's house to be a kid and be outdoors? And we want you to understand that we're there to support and teach kids the right way. And so that when they go out, you have confidence as well. So we've had a lot of families come up and say, oh my gosh, like my anxiety has gone down. I feel safe letting my kid ride a bike and I don't have to be there. So that it's very fortunate for us to be able to give that back to the community.
As this episode is released, registration is now open for a pair of important bike safety events coming up this summer. Sergeant Mark Mithuen, a school resource officer in the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, tells us all about the second annual and free I-5 transportation and road safety events coming up in June and July. Even with twice the capacity as last year, space is limited, so parents are encouraged to register their kids early, and we've got the links in the show notes to help you out with that. Sergeant Mithuen is also going to tell us about a number of the Sheriff's Office Youth Academy programs for elementary, middle, and high school students also coming up this summer, and he gives us an overview of the unique training and disposition that it takes to be an SRO, along with why he appreciates getting to be one. I'm your host, Jason Hackett, Communication Director for Douglas County School District, and if you're looking for some great events for your school-age kids this summer, this is the episode for you. What are we, 3 months away from a couple of really big events in Douglas County, and it's a big partnership, and it's all with the intent of helping make our streets safer for kids and teenagers all across our county. And we're here with a very special guest to help us explain this because he's kind of spearheading the entire endeavor. We've got Sergeant Mark Mithuen from Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and he's also an SRO within the school district. So welcome, first of all. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And why we're here, multi-jurisdictional, multi-organizational effort that's been going on for over a year with the Sheriff's Office, with local police, with the school district, with different municipalities. And so can you talk about year 2 of the I-5 ride events?
Yeah, I-5 started last year. We had a couple SROs who are IPIMBA bike certified instructors. So every SRO that we have gets the opportunity to become a bike certified deputy. And so a couple years ago, 2 of our SROs who are instructors in that start having a conversation about how do we get kids safely to school. We started to see an increase where kids were either on scooters or bicycles, and there were a lot of close calls that we were seeing in our county. Unfortunately, during that time, on Highlands Ranch Parkway, we had a tragic incident where Alec Makowitz was hit by a vehicle and was killed on his way to school. And so our 2 SROs really started having a conversation about how do we create a safe way for students to get to school. And so they came up with the program called I-5. Now, I-5 was designed just like you're giving a high five to someone, you make eye contact and you make sure that you give that high five. Same thing with getting across streets. We want to make sure that students are stopping, make sure that they're looking, making sure that they give that eye contact to the driver of the vehicle, acknowledging I am crossing and then crossing in a safe way. So this started last year. We were able to host one event. We started out at Mountain Vista High School. What started as an idea grew to, oh my gosh, this is truly an amazing community event. We had different people from bike shops come. We got donations from Walmart, from different bike organizations where people donated bicycles, people donated helmets. We were able to do safety checks and make sure that kids had the correct size helmet. I believe we had over 30 helmets that we gave away at that one event where kids would show up with either a cracked helmet or a helmet that was passed down from a sibling that just didn't fit. So we were able to give brand new helmets to kids to make sure that they're safe. And then we did bike safety checks, and we also had bikes that if you showed up and you didn't have a bike, we were able to get you on a bike. What started as the idea of, okay, let's hope we get a few kids to come, ended up we had over 500 kids show up, seeing just the joy in their faces. We put different trails together. We had different obstacles. We had a location where kids who have never ridden before, we were able to put them on Strider bikes to get them to learn how to balance. And it was so amazing. That day, we had 6 kids who had never been on a bike start that day on a Strider, and by the end of the day, they were on a pedal bike with no training wheels riding around. And having the joy of their faces, riding around in circles, giggling and laughing, and the family, the parents going, oh my gosh, we would have never been able to do this. Also on top of that, kids who came that were on training wheels, and we were able to take those off and get them riding, and their families being like, we have been trying for years to get them to ride, and you guys have worked with them for a couple hours, and they're out here having fun, learning how to ride, and they're doing it in a safe way. So that was a huge success. Our sheriff was out there and saw how big of a success was. So he has challenged us this year to not only continue it, but to make it bigger. So this year we've taken the challenge on. We've got 2 locations now set up. The first one is going to be June 11th, and we have decided to go east this time, and we're going to be over at Chaparral High School. And so we're going to have registration open, and we've been told to make it bigger, so we're allowing it to be 300 kids in the morning and 300 in the afternoon. We're shooting for 600 for that day. And then July 13th, we decided to go south, and we're going to be down at Castleview High School. Same setup. We're going to have 300 in the morning, 300 in the afternoon, and we're going to have a lot of our school resource officers from not only the sheriff's office, but Parker, Castle Rock, Lone Tree. We're going to be out there supporting and working together to make sure that kids know how to ride their bikes or scooters, but how to do it in a safe way. We've got a speed demonstration set up where we show families just how fast 25 miles an hour is, how fast 35 miles an hour is. We show kids how long it takes someone to travel and at that speed to come to a stop. So that's why it's important to make sure we have that eye contact, make sure that everyone knows that you're crossing before you start to cross.
It's interesting, too, to think about from my perspective, and also from when my kids were younger and when they learned how to ride a bike. To me, that's like one of the biggest milestones and the best thing about being a kid, like to be able to get on a bike and go somewhere. And something to think about, too, as we've been talking about all these different stations and things, the scale of it and the time devoted. You mentioned it's a morning session and an afternoon session. And these are taking over the entire big giant parking lots of these high schools. So at Mountain Vista last year, took over the whole parking lot. This year at Chaparral and Castleview, it's going to be all over the parking lot. A big event, and going for how many hours each session then too?
Yeah, so each session we've got set up for 3 hours. So it's going to go from 8 in the morning to 11. And then we got to take a little bit of a break. We got to reset. We got to rehydrate because we're out there in the sun, and it's going to be a great event. And then we got 3 hours in the afternoon as well. So we're really excited that we get to break it up into 2 different sections. We get to do the different speed demonstrations during each session. We encourage, if you sign up, come on out, be there, and enjoy the time with us, and know that we're out there and we're going to have fun.
You said the word sign up. That's the other piece. Is there a cost to this, and how do people sign up?
You know, we are very fortunate, not only just to partner with the school district, but other companies. And so this event is absolutely free. We want to make sure that the kids are having fun and we're teaching them safety, but we do it completely free. So there is no cost. The best way that you're going to be able to sign up is the sheriff's office is going to be posting the sign up through social media. The school district is going to be able to push it out as well. We're going to be working with the different schools to send it out in newsletters. So it is going to be out there. We are going to work with the media outlets to try to get it out. But there's going to be a sign up through the sheriff's office website. It is live, so people can sign up right now. Like I said, we've only got 300 spots. You'd be amazed how many spots 300 really is, but we want to make sure that we do it in a safe way and dedicate time to each and every kid that comes out and family. So it's going to go quick. We're going to have, like I said, we've got 2 signups this year. Our sheriff told us to make it bigger, so we've made it bigger. If this year goes just as well as last year, I'm sure next year we're going to be looking at 3 spots. So, but yeah, sign up for whichever date works in your area, and it doesn't even have to be your area. If you can make June 11th and you live in Highlands Ranch, come over to Chaparral. Even if you're in Castle Rock and June 11th you're in town, but you're not going to be July 13th, vice versa. We want to see you. We want to have fun, and we want you to enjoy what we've got set up. And like I said, we've spent a lot of time in designing the course, making sure the courses are safe, making sure that the courses have a lot of room. And that's why we take over the entire parking lot, is we don't want people to feel like, oh, am I going to be able to ride where, there's 30 other kids around me? No, we have made it so it is a very big lot and big obstacles. So we're excited for this year.
That's going to be amazing. And to think about, I didn't get to go to the one last year, but I heard all kinds of rave reviews about it. I didn't hear any complaints about it. I heard a lot of people really impressed and really excited about it. They learned a lot. They had a lot of fun. That it was hot on the parking lot in the middle of summer, so make sure you've got lots of water. But the water is there too. You've got refreshments and food trucks and the whole deal, right?
So we do. We reach out to different vendors. We've got water that's been donated. So we encourage you to bring a water bottle, but we've got some set aside as well. We've got first aid stations. So if you do fall, we'll get you right back out there on the bike and ready to go. So
you've got everything covered. And after hearing such great stuff about last year, now you've been working for a whole other year on even improving on that and adding to it and designing the track and the course even better. So this is going to be amazing to see. And people are going to have a ton of fun for free for 3 hours at a shot, 300 people each session, right? So 300 in the morning on June 11th, 300 in the afternoon on June 11th, and another 300 morning and afternoon each at Castleview on July 13th. So, this is huge. There's going to be a ton of kids and teenagers that are going to have this opportunity to have a lot of fun, learn a lot, get your bike kind of tuned up if you have some issues with it. But there's also the other side of it that we live in a pretty populated world with lots of different hazards out there. And especially when you're talking about anytime you interface with traffic, hopefully most people are paying attention and doing what they need to do. But you have to keep in mind, there's some people who aren't paying attention. You see it way more than the rest of us see it, I'm sure. People driving recklessly. There's somebody who just learned how to drive, and maybe they haven't encountered this kind of a situation yet. You may have somebody who's dealing with some health issues or some vision issues even, or they're driving distracted. There's a lot of things out there that kids on bikes don't know to anticipate that kind of stuff. So what goes into some of the safety aspects of this?
Yeah, and a lot of it also comes back to, talking with the kids and being like, hey, you also have a duty to make sure that it's safe for you to go. So that's why it's important to stop at crosswalks. That's why it's important for you to make that eye contact, because I think some people think, well, if I'm on a bike or if I'm on the sidewalk, I can just go out into traffic whenever I need to. And unfortunately, that's not how the rules and the laws are. So we really want the kids to understand, hey, this is also on you to make sure that you stop where you need to stop. So we have actually worked with our traffic engineering department and our road and bridge, and they have been phenomenal. They have built a crosswalk for us. So we have an actual working crosswalk that we take out at these events, and we have designed a full crosswalk with the little walking guy with the stopping hand to show kids when it's a crosswalk and the person is saying you can go, that doesn't mean just take off. Let's make eye contact. Let's look both ways, and then we go. And so being able to have not only the true working crosswalk, but we have multiple little remote control cars. And I say little, but kids can drive them, but we have them on remote. And so we drive those cars just like an intersection. So, we can show, hey, even though you're standing there, they might not stop. You need to be ready to go when it's safe to do so. So being able to show all sides of how to safely cross, but then we also, on our trails that we've created, we have obstacles. We have fences that we put up to show, hey, you need to look before you cross out over that fence and make sure that you're safe to do so. And then we've got teeter-totters, we've got road bumps, we've got all sorts of obstacles that one might come in contact with, and we want to show and explain to the kids how to safely navigate that so you don't crash. So whether that's coming to a stop and walking your bike over a speed bump, or making sure that you can balance on a teeter-totter, all of that we have in place to make sure that they're safe to do so.
Can you talk a little bit more about, I think you mentioned when we talked about this earlier, you have some new kind of attractions coming this year as well. A motocross instructor that really is going to be able to show us some interesting things out there that because of his skill level, he can show it. Not everybody can do this kind of stuff, but he's going to demonstrate some things for students to show, okay, here's another thing you need to take seriously.
Yeah, so we're very fortunate. One of our partners that came up last year that we were able to reach out to, his name's Matt Burris, and he's with Altitude MX. And he teaches people how to ride motorcycles and also bikes. And so that's where we were able to partner with him last year. But we've seen an increase in, and I call them electric motorcycles. I think there's a big distinction that needs to be put out there where there's electric pedal assist bicycles, and those are bicycles because you are using pedals. Yes, they have an electric motor, but they are pedal assisted. And then you have those electric motorcycles that you're seeing a lot of now, where it's fixed pegs, you don't pedal at all, it's a twist of a throttle just like a motorcycle, and we are seeing these that are now getting up to 60 to 70 miles an hour. And these electric bikes are going faster than the old 2-stroke and 4-stroke 125, 250, 450 motorcycles, and people don't know how to ride them, especially kids. And so with Matt's support, we're going to have a demonstration with an electric motorcycle where he's going to be able to show people exactly how fast these bikes go just with a crack of a throttle. We've had some tragic incidents with these electric motorcycles. And so I think it's important for families to understand if you're looking at buying one, first you need to know the rules. You have to have insurance, you have to have them registered, and the rider has to have a motorcycle endorsement, which you can't get as a juvenile. But yet we're putting kids on these electric motorcycles that are going faster than some people drive on C470, and we're just sending them out there with no knowledge of how fast they go. So we're going to be able to do that with our speed demonstration, and we're very fortunate because Matt is a professional motocross racer. He used to race supercross and motocross on TV, so he is well-versed and very talented, and we're very fortunate to be able to partner with him again this year and have him come out and do this demonstration to show how dangerous these electric motorcycles are.
And so that'll be a little bit one of the aspects of the I-5 event too, getting some more information about that and just helping kids understand the ways to ride safely and where they need to ride, right?
Yep. One of the biggest things that we're doing is education. We don't encourage anyone that has these electric motorcycles to bring them to this event. That's not where this event is for. But we want to educate parents while we're teaching kids how to ride bicycles. We want to educate them on if your son or daughter wants you to buy one of these, they can't have a license, they have to be insured. And so the biggest part is just providing that education and explaining the difference.
So yeah, focusing specifically on bicycles then at the I-5 Ride Safe event, what are some of the other different stations that you have around there that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, so we're going to have technicians out there looking at bikes. We had some bikes that showed up that had been passed down for generations, and the chains don't work, the derailleurs don't work, the brakes, you have to Fred Flintstone it, as I say, to stop, and we don't want that. So we go through the bikes, we make sure that the bikes are safe, we make sure that the kids have the right safety equipment, such as helmets. And we're very fortunate to still have some of those helmets that were donated and be able to give to the kids so that we know that they're safe. We've got a section that's going to be set up that's only for kids who have never ridden before. We don't want families to think, oh my gosh, my kid has never ridden before. Is this an event that they can go to? Absolutely. We're going to have an area where just those kids that are learning to ride, we're walking with, we're getting them to understand balance. And then we get to get them going a little bit faster. And then we're going to have a section set up to where kids can, on the Strider bikes, it's going to be a racetrack so that they get to learn how to go a little bit faster. We've got a beginner section that's going to be kind of talking about how to ride safe, how to safely go around different obstacles. And then we progress to those that are experts. And we got more teeter-totters, more speed bumps. We've got cut up tennis balls to show them, hey, here's how you correctly go around an obstacle. We've got bigger obstacles for the beginners to say, here's how you go around obstacles. We've got a full crosswalk set up to show how you safely get off your bike or scooter and walk across and make sure that you're safe getting across those crosswalks. So we've got a lot of different things set up. A lot of time has gone into this. We've got a whole design built for everyone. So it's going to be, we're encouraging everyone, whether it's you're a beginner or you go and race. We want you to come out and have fun. We want you to engage with us and have a good time. And it's really important that not only do we teach kids to ride safe, but parents get to see, hey, my kid now knows how to ride safe. So that anxiety when your kid goes, hey, I'm going to get on the bike and I want to go see my friend down the street, you know that they're safe to do so. And that's the biggest part is, as a parent, you want to sit and go, okay, am I okay to send my kid down the street to a friend's house to be a kid and be outdoors? And we want you to understand that we're there to support and teach kids the right way. And so that when they go out, you have confidence as well. So we've had a lot of families come up and say, oh my gosh, like my anxiety has gone down. I feel safe letting my kid ride a bike and I don't have to be there. So that it's very fortunate for us to be able to give that back to the community.
I feel like maybe we're finding that right balance of like, let's have fun and be safe at the same time. And I feel like that's what it sounds like this event's going to be, focused on fun and the joy and enjoyment of getting out and riding a bike and learning all the things you need to do, and also balancing it with the right kind of safety precautions. And
we want to get away from sitting behind a screen. We want kids to go out, have some fun, be with friends. And I mean, we live in Colorado. It's beautiful. Even this winter's been really nice. We want people to enjoy the outdoors. We want people to be healthy. We want people to have a good time, but we also want to encourage that safety aspect and to tell everyone it's okay to be fun and and be safe at the same time. And that's what this event is about. It's about creating a safe place for people to learn how to be safe. Last year we even saw kids who were teenagers and preteens who they never had the opportunity to be on a bike. And so now we gave them that opportunity. We've got bikes, like I said, bikes that have been donated, bikes that we have set up to where even if you don't have a bike but you want to come and learn, we'll get you on a bike. We've got bikes of all sizes, and we're very fortunate to have partnered with different companies, and we're very grateful that even companies still continue to reach out to us and still give us donations for us to help kids. And we've got scooters, we've got bikes, we've got everything, we've got helmets. So we encourage everyone, whether you can bring your own or you just need to come out and borrow one, we've got you covered.
Sure. This sounds like an amazing event, tons of fun, and year 2, there's all these improvements coming.
Yeah, year 2, a lot of improvements, a lot of dedication. It started with 2 deputies. I now have 6 deputies that are assigned. Mark Adams, who is the SRO over at Chaparral High School, he's the one that's spearheading this. And I tell you, the amount of time that it takes to put in, we say 8 o'clock is when it's going to open. We'll be out there at 4 a.m. setting up the trail, setting up the track, getting ready to go. And I'll also say, even though each event is 3 hours, you don't have to stay for all 3 hours. You can come for 20 minutes. You can come for an hour. You can stay for all 3 hours if you wish. It's really up to what you want to do and how much fun you're having. But we're going to be out there, and it's going to be fun. And when we take over a parking lot and teach people how to ride, and it's truly amazing. And like I said, those stories of those 6 kids that learned, had never been on a bike, had never even sat on a bike. And by the time we were done, within a couple hours, not only were they on bikes, they were pedaling, they were smiling, the families were crying because they had never seen something like that happen before. And that's why we do this event.
Yeah, just magical to think about. And for parents that have been through the effort of trying to get kids to learn how to ride a bike and how many sometimes days and weeks it takes to get them, you're a parent, you're doing the best you can. The professionals that really know how to teach this can get it done in a couple of hours, where it takes some of us a lot longer, and just let them do it and that you're good. They're ready to go.
And it's so fun because as a parent, sometimes your kids think they know more than you, right? Like we live in that world sometimes.
Sure.
But when you get to stand by and let us work with your kids and you see the engagement that we get with the kids and you see them start pedaling and the trust that we can build within just a very short time. And it's not, you're not required to be running alongside your kid. You're not required to be telling them, hey, pedal faster or hit the brake. We've got you covered. That's our job for the day. That's what we're there for. And it's great that you get to take a little bit of a break and enjoy, kind of watching your kids be kids. And we're professionals and we've been through bike classes. We've been able to teach kids many years and we know how to connect with them. And so we're very fortunate to use our means of an SRO to communicate, to be able to teach kids these valuable skills to keep them safe.
Right. Yeah. It's just another like coming together of all this skills and aptitudes and amazing talent that you guys have to extend what you do as SROs to this specific type of event where you're able to essentially make a pop-up carnival or amusement park that's education based around bikes for a day at each of these schools. I mean, it's a huge undertaking. Thank you guys for doing it. Thanks to Sheriff Weekly for challenging you to take it on even more. And the big benefit is going to be how many more kids are going to be riding safe all across Douglas County and riding to and from school, doing it safely and having a better understanding. So thank you guys for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're going to be doing those couple of days coming up. And we're going to link all the signups and other resources and things in the show notes for this episode. So you can check that out right here with the podcast in your show notes, and you can go straight to the sign up and also some other resources about riding safely, some of the other I-5 flyers that have been put together that help people understand the difference between e-bikes and e-motorcycles, things like that. So a ton of things that have been put together through this effort. So much more to come. Did we miss anything?
I don't think we missed anything. I would just say that, we are very fortunate for, Sheriff Weekly to give us the opportunity to put this on and to work with the school district and Superintendent Kane. And we're just very fortunate that the partnership is so strong that we get to have fun. We get to educate, and the programs that we continually get to build are top notch in the state. And I think a lot of people will come and see what we're doing. And we've had a lot of people from different departments reach out of how we're doing things. So we're trendsetters in the right direction for sure. And I would just highly encourage, if you're listening to this podcast and this is something that you sound like you want to do, sign up early, because unfortunately we will fill those spots, which we're very grateful for, but we want to make sure that you get signed up as soon as you possibly can.
Absolutely. And this is coming out the week before spring break starts for Douglas County School District. And we're getting this out as early as possible so people can start planning ahead and thinking about which one they want to attend. If you need to work things around for your summer vacation plans, we're trying to get this out as early as possible to give people the maximum opportunity to take advantage of this great couple of events. So
yeah, we're excited. It's going to be a great couple events.
Yeah, very excited. Can you talk a little bit about another youth-oriented initiative that is going on through the Sheriff's Department that's also coming up in June?
Yeah, we're very fortunate as SROs to continue to build different programs to continue to engage with the youth of Douglas County. So we're very fortunate this year, June 1st through the 5th, so right out of school, we're fortunate that that's going to be our high school youth academy. So it's open to anyone who is going into 9th grade through 12th grade, and it's a full week. So it's Monday through Friday. We've got events planned such as touring our sheriff's office, talking with the coroner, going out and working with search and rescue, actually doing a rescue up in the national forest. We're going to be going this year. We're very excited. We scheduled a tour with DIA, and we're going to be going out and learning the backs of DIA, going into areas where people aren't allowed to. And then after that, we get to go to the state capitol. We get to walk around the state capitol. We get to go see things that the normal public don't get to see. So we get to work with the Colorado State Patrol, and they get to take us on a very VIP tour of the state capitol. We get to go down to Dart Wars, and we get to have a little competition between kids and the deputies. So that's coming June 1st through the 5th. Those are limited spots. So if you have a high schooler or someone going into high school and they want to learn about law enforcement, it's hands-on. We're doing a crime scene investigation. We're rescuing with search and rescue. So we get a lot of fun with that. Last year, we started with another initiative and said, you know what? We do this for the high school. What about elementary and middle school kids? So last year, we started with a 2-day elementary and 2-day middle school. We filled those spots as faster than we could think of. We had, between all 3 academies, we had 98 kids that went through a youth academy last summer. So this year, like the sheriff challenged us with I-5, we're challenging again with the youth academy. So this year, we've got the high school, the June 1st through the 5th, and then we're going to go right into an elementary youth academy on June 8th and 9th. That is going to be over at Coyote Creek Elementary in Highlands Ranch. And then we've also got June 10th and 11th. So the 8th and 9th is going to be elementary. That is going to be for kids going into 3rd grade through 5th grade. And then June 10th and 11th at Coyote Creek Elementary, we've got middle school youth academy. So that's any kids going into 6th grade and going into 8th grade. And so those times will be from 8 in the morning to 3. It is a free event for those kids. So once again, no charge to the families, no charge to the community. So free events. And then, like I said, it was so big last year, we're doing it again. Over in Parker area on June 15th and 16th is going to be the Elementary Youth Academy, and that's going to be at Cherokee Trail Elementary. And then June 17th and 18th is going to be Cherokee Trail Elementary for the Middle School Youth Academy. So we've continued to grow. We're continuing to have fun with the youth. It's another great event that's out there. Those flyers are coming out. Sign up is live as well. Like I said, seats are limited because we can't take everyone as much as we want to, but those events are set and going to be great events as well, including I-5 on top of those.
Wow. Listening to those dates, it's like you're going the high school event, elementary, take a small break to go do the I-5 event, and then go back and do the next round, right? And it's, wow, you guys are going to have a busy summer.
Yeah, we are a very busy unit in the summertime. We want to continue to engage with the kids and the youth and the families in our community. So, yep, we stay busy during the summer. We want to be active, and we've got these great events planned, and we're very fortunate that Sheriff Weekly allows us to do those events, and we're very fortunate to partner with the school district and be able to use the school buildings to host those events. And I tell you, it's great. It's a great time.
Oh, sure. And with the school district's emphasis on helping kids have opportunities to explore different types of careers and things like this is just hand in glove with that. If you've got some kids that, even at the elementary level, but especially up to the high school level, they're thinking about, maybe I'm interested in a law enforcement career. Here's a great way to get a really good inside look and actual hands-on experience there. Yeah,
and it's great because when they get into the high school youth academy, not only do we get to have fun, but we also have our Explorer program, which are kids who are in high school that work with the sheriff's office. They come in, they get to train with us. We use them for special events such as 4th of July. We use them for different events where we may need help with parking. They get to be part of the Explorer post with the sheriff's office. Those kids even get to go down to regional trainings. They get to go to Chandler, Arizona for a regional competition. They've won a lot of awards. And so it's a great way. They get to come out and be with us and be with the next wave, as we say, that the next youth that are coming in And from that, if you enjoy that week as the youth academy in high school, you get to sign up and go through the process of becoming an explorer and get to train with law enforcement and really broaden your eyes to what we do in this career. So it's a great way to get a better understanding of what law enforcement does.
So many great opportunities. This is exciting. And we'll link all of these resources and the flyers and the sign-up links and everything in the show notes for this podcast as well. So anybody can go take a look at all that stuff and take advantage of as many opportunities as are there, that kids can learn a lot thanks to all these great partnerships. So now let's get into kind of talking about kind of the role that you have as an SRO. You wear a lot, along with the badge, you wear a lot of hats for us right now.
I certainly do. I'm one of 3 supervisors that oversees the school resource officers. So we have 37 deputies that are in school, and my role is to make sure that we have schools covered, make sure that the SROs are doing their job, and also get to go out and have fun and play dodgeball with kids at certain times and work with the school district on lockdowns. But I'm also the state president of the State Association of SROs. So I've been that for 4 years. So I bring a lot of knowledge from the national level, and what we do across the state, we implement here in Douglas County. So very, very fortunate to have that role as well.
What does it take to be a school resource officer? In addition to all the skills that you have to be a sheriff's deputy and do all the things that you need to do with law enforcement, along with that then are a whole other set of skills to be an SRO, right?
Yeah, so SROs are hand selected. You first have to be a deputy, and then what we look for is we look for those that go above and beyond with not only communication, but have a good way of communicating and working with kids and being able to communicate with kids and with parents and staff members. And so we're very fortunate with the school district that when we go to select an SRO, we actually have an administrator from the school district that comes in and sits on our selection process. And that's really a great partnership that we have, because we want to get buy-in from the schools as to, hey, are we making the right selection? After we select, we send everyone through a 40-hour national basic class. They go through a 40-hour course to learn what it's like to be an SRO. And then after that, we send everyone through an advanced course within a year. And that's a 24-hour program. And on top of that, we send every SRO to the national conference, where we get to hear from phenomenal national speakers about new trends, new laws, what we should be looking for in our area. And it's really helped develop the program that we have created here in Douglas County.
And that's a piece too, that all of the education, it feels like a sort of a parallel with what we see with teachers. Like it's a constant education for the educators, and in this case for the SROs. Like there's constantly new information coming out, new research, new and better ways to do things, and then staying on top of changing laws and things like that. And then just having that disposition to be able to work with kids. And also, at times you're probably called into having to de-escalate certain situations when students or sometimes parents or who knows whatever, some people get a little hot under the collar or something, right? And so you've got to have a broad set of skills.
Yeah, and we are very fortunate that not only do we have the great number of SROs that we have a lot of support from the community, a lot of support from the school district, but all of our SROs are also CIT certified to de-escalate students. We've gone through not only the CIT course, but we've gone through a lot of different courses in de-escalation, a lot of mental health courses. We work very closely with Safe Streets for anyone who might be being trafficked. We work very closely with them to make sure that we rescue those kids. So we're very fortunate in what we've got going on in Douglas County.
And I'll ask one other question specifically about that, and then we'll get to the meat of this. But I just find your work fascinating, because there's so many different things you have to do. And the thing that I hear often is the biggest part of working in schools, whether you're a teacher or anybody, and helping to identify any potential issues, is really knowing the kids and being there and being present and helping to identify. If somebody looks like they're having a bad day, you or other staff people just know how to go handle that and help figure out what can be done to help a student or even a parent sometimes if they're having a bad day, right?
Yeah, and that's what really sets an SRO. When someone's in need, they call 911 or they'll call our non-emergent number, and you don't know who you're going to get. the students and the staff, they know who they get. They have a working relationship, and it starts from day one where we get to go in and start high-fiving kids, talking with staff, talking with counselors, and we are really a person with many hats. We have to be able to decide what hat to put on in what situation, and that just comes through the years of training, the years of getting to know the trends, knowing what we should be looking for, and being out in the hallways, being at lunch. And when we see someone sitting by themselves, going over and having lunch with them, or sitting down and saying, hey, how's things going? I mean, we have in all of our schools, our high schools, we have been working with a group called the Backpack Society where they provide snacks and drinks. And so we've got little pantries in our offices where kids who may not get to have dinner come in the morning, and we get to give them a snack. We get to give them something and connect with them and check in on them. And it really brightens your day when you hear sound stories of people being like, boy, if it wasn't for my SRO, I don't know where I'd be. And, I've been fortunate to be in this role for almost 6 full years now as a supervisor. And before this, I did 3 years as an SRO in a different district. But the stories that you hear from people who come back years after graduation. I mean, we had one a couple weeks ago come in, and they've continued on their education. They're now in college, but they came in and, they walked up and said thank you to the SRO, because they said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have continued my education. I don't know where I'd be, but now I've got a scholarship. I'm continuing my education, and the future looks bright for me. And because of you, because you took the time to make sure I was okay on days. So those stories come out, and it's, we don't hear a lot of them, but when we do hear them, we're very grateful because we see the impact that we're making.
Absolutely. You guys are the epitome of the trusted adult that people need to go to, and the work that you put in to not only live up to that, but exceed those expectations, and helping students like that. That's amazing. That's
yeah.
So cool to hear.
Yeah. It really makes your day when you hear those stories and get to give high fives and play dodgeball and play hockey, or just drop in and teach a class. It makes our days so much better.
Absolutely. One question I had, I guess I lied and said that was the last question about this. One thing I forgot to ask, as a supervisor, so do you go to multiple schools, or are you responsible for a specific school and work very closely with them? How does that work?
Yeah, so I oversee 14 deputies. And of those deputies, I have some that are in private schools. I have some that are in charter schools. I have a couple that are in elementary, so they have multiple schools. And then I have middle school and high schools. So I oversee the 14 up mainly Central Highlands Ranch to East Parker is the area that I cover. But besides that, the 2 other supervisors, sergeants, we all work very close together. So every lockdown that we have, drill that we have in our county, we go to. So I get to see all the staff members. I get to see, all the different admins from every school. And it's a lot of lockdown drills that we go to, but there's a reason we do that. So yeah, I get to work with a lot of different people.
I'll have to say, I got to tag along on one of those earlier in the year. Just the level of professionalism and preparedness, and everybody knew exactly where they needed to be and was able to identify what they were looking for to make sure that this, and this was done properly and correctly. And everybody was on point. And it was a huge effort seeing that lockdown. Like you said, so many deputies and local police and everybody working together. It's really amazing, and makes you feel good about the level of safety and security that's provided by all of you then.
Yeah, and we've put a lot of measures in place that, we never want another situation to happen, and that's why we do what we do. But we are prepared if something were to happen. And I tell you, I get to talk to people across the nation. People are always calling me because being the state president, people call and ask, hey, what are you guys doing in Colorado? And I get to say, Colorado, we're doing this, but more importantly, in Douglas County, we're doing this. And I explain how, we're prepared. We've worked with the South Metro Fire and Rescue. We've worked with Castle Rock Fire, all of our local firefighters, as well as the local hospitals. And we're prepared. You don't want to go through the first steps of, well, what do we need to do when something really happens? And so we are very fortunate that we get to work with all of the great departments and put things together and do exercises. We just did a very large reunification with the school district with where we're going to be doing reunification. And, when you're walking through, and even on a smaller scale, you identify kind of, we need to work on this. And it's amazing when we have people that are willing to just step right in and say, you know what, not only are we going to work on it, we fixed it. Here's how we do it. Let's run it again. And we're there to make sure that the victimization doesn't continue after. We want to make sure that we get kids to families as quickly as possible, but also as safely as possible. And I think that's one of the big things is we're prepared that we're going to make sure that kids go home safe, and we want to reunite those families as quick as we can. And we've got those steps in place.
That's great. It's a reassuring thing to know about that you guys are all on top of that. So
yeah.
Thank you, first of all, and thank you all of your colleagues for that as well.
Of course.
So speaking of everybody working together, thank you, Sergeant Mithuen, for stopping by. Thank you for your work doing all this stuff and leading what you do on a day-to-day basis with SROs. Thank you for leading this effort for the I-5 Ride Safe events. And we'll see you out there on a couple of two-wheelers out there.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for listening to DCSD Notebook from Douglas County School District, which serves more than 60,000 students, making it the third largest public school district in Colorado. With 92 schools, including neighborhood schools, charter options, and homeschool support, DCSD is a welcoming home for every style of learner. To find out more, visit dcsdk12.org. And make sure to hit the follow button in your favorite podcast app so you can get every new episode, as well as Parent University once a month, where we hear from experts within the district and from the larger community talking about timely, relevant issues that parents face in our complex world. We're here to help you, so if you have a question and can't find the answer on our website, email communications@dcsdk12.org and we'll help point you in the right direction.